Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dr. Quack Show. You know, I was sitting here talking to a friend of mine, you know, and it made me kind of want to talk about this in general with, things that kind of go down around my life and not necessarily in mine, but trust me, in a lot of other people's that I know, because we all have these kind of issues, especially the single folk, you know. And that would be relationships, friendships, and even that deadly word that everybody hates. That's the friend zone, What I want to start with first is friendships here. Let me tell you, in life, a lot of people know me, or they know of me. But I don't have a lot of really true friends. I have very few that I consider in my life to be true friends. People that call me on a regular basis, not for things. I'm talking about people who call me to check up on me, to see how I'm doing. How's your life? How is work going? How is things like that? You check on yourselves, People who check on you. People who want to hang out. People say, hey, what are you doing tonight? And things like that. I mean, I don't have a lot of friends. Kind of sucks, And I know there's going to be some people watching this that'll probably say, if I lived closer, we would hang out every day. And believe me, some of those people, I know it to be true. But it's crazy when you talk about friendships between the opposite sex, between men and women. When you're friendships with your guys, your guy buddies, there's no real anything except friendship there because they're your friends, But when you go from, a guy-girl friendship and one or the other, guy or girl, catches feelings, and they express it, and they'll get shut down. It happens on both sides all the time. Unfortunately, there's nothing much you can do about it because either A, you guys or girls get together, your friendship materializes into a relationship, or it can be a devastating effect to where it can end a friendship because one person caught feelings versus the other. They didn't catch feelings. It's a crazy world, when it comes to things like that. A lot of people I talk to, they all say they're afraid to put themselves out there. They're afraid to say how they feel towards the other person. It's a difficult thing, I see it, like I said, both sides of the plate here, men and women. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. Because my advice is, if you don't ask, you're always going to ask yourself, what if? If you don't know. So, I mean, in some respects, is it better not to know? Yeah, of course. 2020 hindsight behind that. You never really want to put out your feelings to get rejected. Nobody does. God, nobody does. But if you don't, you're going to ask yourself, why didn't I ask them out? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? So do it. Ask them out. What's the worst case scenario? They say no. If they're both mature adults, they'll still be friends. If the other person kind of feels like it's an issue, then they may come distant from you. They may not talk to you. You may get put in the friend zone. Throw a big party for that, right? Woo! Friend zone. Jesus. God. I'm sure if you're watching this video at one point or the other in your life, you have either put somebody in the friend zone or you've been put there yourself. A lot of times I think it's both with most people. And it's a painful thing to do. I mean, can you imagine? Somebody cares about you. somebody opens up to you and tells you how they feel, but it's not reciprocated. It's not the same feeling from the other person. And a lot of times that's where friend zones hit, you know. I mean, and that's a hard thing because guys and girls go through it both times. I mean, initially the guys usually are asking out the girl. The guys usually got to ask out the girl. Occasionally you see it the other way, but a lot of times it's the guy asking out the girl. You know, and it just, you know, it's us taking a chance. I mean, I've seen women get upset because a guy asks out a girl. I'm like, really? We're just trying, you know? Now, if you say no and they continue going at you, then that could be an issue. Definitely. That can lead to a lot of bad things. But if a guy asks you out and you say no and he says okay and moves the fuck on, then that's just what it was. It was him seeing, you know, if he could actually date you. If you would give him the chance, or if she would give you the chance, you know, on both respects here. You know, if all turns right and lovey-dovey and everything, people start relationships. And let me tell you, so many people, the biggest problem I learned in relationships, and this is something I'm guilty of too, okay? I'm not afraid to admit it. But you rush into these things, and I've done it. God, I've rushed into relationships, thinking this one might be the one. And in reality, it didn't last long. You know, I don't regret taking the chance, but I do regret that I should have slowed down. You know. And that's what a lot of people need to learn. They got to slow down. A good friend of mine once told me in the wrestling business, if you think you're going too fast, slow down. If you think you're going just right, just go a little bit slower. Take your time. Take your time. It's a hard thing, you know, for a lot of people to do because everybody wants happiness. You know, you go into a bar or club and, you know, you see someone over there and you're kind of attractive to them, but you see how happy they are and you see, you know, maybe they're not around a lot of people, but they're over there having fun and enjoying their life. And you think to yourself, I want some of that. Maybe me and that person can be happy together. You know? A lot of people think like that. And they always try to push themselves into that person's view. To see if there's a chance. You know? But in reality, yeah, you got to take a fucking chance, folks. You got to. If you don't take a chance, you don't know, and you're left with a lot of doubt and resentment sometimes. So, you know, I don't regret anything I've done. I've went to people and I've asked them out. And guess what? I've been shut down. It happens. Fuck. Maybe I'm not your cup of tea, but I'm somebody else's shot at tequila. That's going to be a given. I don't think I'm too many people's cup of tea in the first place because that's who the fuck I am. I know my faults. You know, I know how I am. A lot of people don't like the way that I act. They tolerate it, and they're okay with it, but they may not like it. You know, and that's fine with me. I understand. You know, with relationships, what I've learned is it's a lot of change, too. If you don't change each other, you know, in a relationship, you're not in a real relationship because, let me tell you, you can look at yourself before you enter that relationship versus afterwards. Guaranteed. You know, stamp it on there. You're going to be changed. It happens. You know, there ain't nothing you can do about it. But what you got to realize, this is what, you know, the biggest problem in life, too, is, you know, your past relationships. Ever notice when you go to talk to a girl or a guy and they act in some ways like one of your exes, probably pretty recent, and it really throws up a red flag and it really scares the fuck out of you? Or what's even worse is when you find somebody that you've been talking about you want. That type of person. And that person comes in your life and scares the fuck out of you because you didn't think they existed. And a lot of people on that note, they run. They get scared to death. They get scared to come out and actually go after that person because it's not their norm. You know, for example, I mean, you could be, a woman who dated a bunch of guys that were abusive, and then all of a sudden you meet this nice guy who's not like them, who asks you about your opinion, who respects you, all this other shit that you like, that you think other people would like to see you with, but you can't find it in your heart to deal with it because he's not like your normal guy you date, It's hard as hell. It's the scariest fucking thing to deal with when you find somebody that you're the type of person that you want to be with. And then you face that rejection. Either you're rejecting him or him possibly rejecting you. You see this on both sides. Like I said, men and women, it happens on both sides of the plate. I mean, how do you solve these things? That's my question to you. For anybody that'd like to answer on this channel or on my Facebook page when it gets posted. Anybody that'd like to give their 2 cents, I would appreciate it. Because, people deal with these problems every day. And, in reality, I haven't been in a relationship in quite a while. I haven't been in a meaningful relationship in a long time. And honestly, I don't think I know how to start one anymore because the world has totally changed. It is such a different world, When you're in your 30s and 40s, I don't know about my 40s yet, but this is what I'm guessing. It's not the same. Everybody's got baggage. Everybody's got issues. And it's a lot like dumpster diving and trying to find a diamond in the bottom of the trash bin. Because you find a lot of bad people that you shouldn't be with that are throwing up red flags from your past and your exes and things like that. But there's that hope of that diamond being in there, that one that you're looking for. So, if you got any advice, I'm sure my listeners would love to hear it. Hell, I'd love to hear it just in general. Because I always like people's opinions. And that's what I'm giving here on this video. But I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. If you can, like, subscribe, share this video. I would love to hear your opinions. If you can, give them to me. This is my last video of the night. I'll probably make one towards the later end of this week. I got a few other things I want to talk about and cover, but I'm not going to cover them just yet. So stay tuned, folks. Have a good night.